Hello guys, welcome back to the channel where it is, as you can tell, a Steelers Friday. Thankfully I'm actually be able to record this at a normal time because I was worried with the time difference and everything, as with the mistakes I've made in the past, I wouldn't be able to record the Cardinals preview and everything because of their injury report coming out until later tonight, and actually because I've got date night plans with the wife. I thought this wasn't going to be out till Saturday, but thankfully, luckily, the Cardinals have released their injury report, so we can sort of dive right into it as we begin our preview of the Steelers and the Arizona Cardinals. Now, on the Steelers side, I think it's pretty straightforward, as it were, because we've only got one note to really talk about, and that's Montravius Adams is listed as questionable for the game, and whilst that's not exactly it's not perfect, but if Montravius Adams were to miss the game, I'm not exactly feeling too disappointed with that. Just because of, the likes of Keanu Benton and the way he's stepped up, arguably our Rookie of the Year. I know there's a lot of decent players to choose from. Jerry Porter might have a word to say with it. But anyway, Keanu Benton, I think, is a pretty strong candidate. If he's in, that's fine. Larry Ogunjobi, that's fine. DeMarvin Leal, he's fine. Cam Hayward, fine. For fact we're missing Montravius Adams, I'm not that greatly concerned about. But if we come to the Arizona Cardinals and boy, it is it's like I don't know what to say about the Arizona Cardinals, but they've got two cornerbacks. Two cornerbacks are out: Antonio Hamilton and Starling Thomas V. Offensive lineman Elijah Wilkinson is out. Wide receiver Michael Wilson is out, and then a couple of others are questionable. But the big one is Marquise Hollywood Brown. Obviously, and we know the problems that the Steelers have had at points this year with the team's number one wide receiver at times, but thankfully Joey Porter Jr., as I've said, has managed to step up. But I think, injury report aside, I think everyone really knows what this whole thing is. What the main purpose of these sort of videos are, and what's the keys to the game. And it's basically, again, I hate to make it simple, but I've been making it simple all the way through. But that's just the way it is. Just more of the same from last week. All the way through the season, it was why aren't we doing the simple things simply, or the routine things routinely, as Mike Tomlin would like to say. But with the way the Arizona Cardinals are lit up, they are 31st against the run. They've given up the 31st most yards in the league against the run. What is our strength this season? It's the run game. As we pointed out, they've got two cornerbacks out. You'd want to think that maybe George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. I saw this on Twitter earlier today, and I want to give credit to the person who did it, but I can't remember it right now because it was sort of in passing. But there is no excuse for this Steelers team not to put up points this weekend. I do want to focus this solely on the offensive side of the ball, because the defensive side of the ball has, as I've said, carried its weight this season. There are no criticisms to be given for the defensive side. Especially when you look at, you may start to worry about Kyler Murray and the impact that he can make. But we've shown that with mobile quarterbacks, we can sort of keep them in check. You've seen the way we've managed to keep Lamar Jackson in check at points over his career. The one team that he always, for one reason or another, seems to struggle against is us. So the fact that we've got to play a mobile quarterback in Kyler Murray doesn't really worry me. On that front, especially with, again, going back to the injury report, the fact that Minka Fitzpatrick's back, and the plays that he can make in the run game and the passing game. So our defense does not worry me. But going back to the offense, as I said, and, repeating what someone else said, there is no reason that this team cannot put up, I'm going to say it, there's no reason we can't put up 30 points. With the strong running game that we've developed. Again, I'm not expecting every single run to be like a Jaylen Warren 70, I think it was 75 yards, 70 yard, whatever it was, against the Browns the other week, or for Najee Harris when he's dragging basically everyone as he did last week with the Bengals. I don't expect him to do that on a regular basis, but we should be able to get chunk plays. We should be able to march the ball up the field with relative ease, and we should be able to score points. So, this may be the second week in a row that we get over 400 yards, but what was the problem last week? Is we got all those yards, but we didn't have the points to show for it. And I think this is a week where, especially with New England coming around on next Thursday, where I want to see points. I want to see points on the board early and often, and I want to see points taken off the board on the Cardinals side early and often. If we can get a sizable 3-touchdown lead going into the fourth quarter, something I don't think is impossible with the way that this team, and I get it was only of 1 week, but you'd think that with the improvements they made last week against a very good team. Then you've got the extra couple of days of practice against a very bad team. Again, on paper, this should be 30 points, I would like to think, against the Arizona Cardinals. But then, as I say, moving into next week against the New England Patriots, start to pull the starters. Get Kenny Pickett out of the game midway through the fourth quarter. Put Mitch Trubisky in. Put Mason Rudolph in for all I care. Get Cam Hayward benched for the rest of the day. Give him some rest. Give TJ Watt some rest. Give all the second stringers some vital snaps and get them ready and rested for Thursday. I don't think that is outside the realms of possibility for this Pittsburgh Steelers team, assuming we weren't all hoodwinked with what we saw in Cincinnati. We were all hoodwinked with what we saw in the preseason with our performances against the Bucks, the Bills, and the Falcons. Bucks, Bills, Falcons. Yeah, it was those three. And saying, all right, this offense can really be something. And then it came to the regular season, everything sort of went off. So assuming that the game against the Bengals was not some form of one-off, I will repeat it, I don't think there is any reason why this team cannot score 30 points against the Arizona Cardinals. Dare I even say it? Maybe even score 35 or 40 on them. It's definitely within reach for this team. And as I say, just getting that little bit of momentum because, as I talked about in the previous couple of weeks, these, the two games against the Browns and the Bengals were going to be crucial for what stage we're at the turn towards the business end of the season into December, where we raise hell. Again, the other Tomlinism. And again, with games against the Cardinals and the Patriots and the Colts and we've got a favourable run of games. It's not impossible. Again, I like to refer to the show because it's one of the favourite shows I like to watch, but the Ramon Foster Show with DK Pittsburgh Sports, saying it's not impossible that this team could go undefeated depending on how things play out. And maybe if the Ravens have already won the division, they're willing to rest players, and we need a win to either move up the standings or squeak in as a wild card. Then it's not impossible for us to think that we could go undefeated for the remainder of the season. That would take us to 13-4. It's unrealistic. I don't, for this team to be 13-4, I think it would be, especially considering the struggles we've had, I think would be an absolute miracle. But it's not impossible when you look at the schedule that we have. But if we can just use this game to start getting some confidence into the boys and, start to show that this team can actually do something, then it should give Steelers fans a lot of hope again. And I want to stress it. I'm not predicting the Super Bowl. I'm not predicting an AFC Championship. But this team, as it is constructed, and if we are able to carry on and build on what we were able to do against Cincinnati, this is a team that can win a playoff game, which is we haven't done since the 2016 season when we had that. It was against Matt Moore and the Dolphins, which didn't really count. And then it was the game where we scored where we only scored field goals against Kansas City. So it's been a long time since we've had any form of playoff success, if you will. And this team is capable of it, and it all starts now. Again, hopefully with the win against the Bengals, but hopefully a statement win and a sort of lay down the marker of right, this offense can put up points against the Cardinals, and who knows, maybe even the Patriots moving into next week. But again, the Patriots will be the Patriots, and we'll deal with them when I do the previews next week. But for now, it's time for my score prediction, and I do think that 30 points is achievable, so I'll go with a 31 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 4 touchdowns and a Chris Boswell field goal. And on the Cardinals side, again, they are not a very good team. That's just the fact of it. And I think with the defense, continuing to build, and with the players like Mika Fitzpatrick back, who can hopefully get a couple of splash plays and get some turnovers and, make it easier for our offense, then I think that 10 points is relatively reasonable to hold the Arizona Cardinals to. So I'm going to go for a Pittsburgh Steelers win by a score of 31-10. That's really it. So here we go. Let's go Steelers.